Hello everyone, welcome again to my channel, The Creative Agile IT. So in today's video, I will discuss the 6 principles, the 6 practices that we all are familiar in Kanban. What are those 6 principles? What are those 6 practices that we use as basic steps to implement the Kanban process in any project? And also one of the interesting thing that we will do in this video is we will use Kanban word itself as an acronym to remember those 6 principles or 6 practices. So that will be the idea about this video. Let us start. So very first thing is what exactly is a Kanban? So Kanban is a Japanese word that means signboard. It is an agile process. It is one of the agile process. The other processes are Scrum, XP, FTD, feature driven development. There are so many other practices: discipline agile, the scaled agile, the safe. And so Kanban is an agile process to visualize and manage your workflow. It's a work management system. And sometimes, people, they do get confused, especially the new teams. They say, okay, whether Scrum is agile, whether Kanban is agile. So we can say that, as Scrum and Kanban, they are flavors of agile, or they are methodologies which implement or follows the agile principles. So let's move to the next one. These are the 6 steps that we all are familiar with, the 6 guiding principles to implement Kanban in any project. So the very first thing is visualizing the workflow. So what that means is, we need to identify what are the different stages, different states, uh, in our workflow. What happens, once the request comes and once that request gets fulfilled by us, what are the different stages then that a particular request goes through in our system. So we will have to analyze and come up with our workflow, and the thing that can help us is using the visualization. We can just draw in our board and come up with the different states and different columns or different stages, and that will help us to kind of like uh, portray or kind of like understand the initial workflow in our system. Second practice or the second principle is limiting the work in progress. So all that means is, like, depending upon the capacity of the team or the people who are working on a particular stage or a particular column or in our board, we will have to understand that what is our WIP limit or work in progress limit, because the whole idea about this Kanban process or the emphasis is on closing the items rather than opening or starting work on the new items. So we will have to understand what is our WIP limit for each of the columns depending upon the team's capacity. So we cannot copy the board from one team to another, because each team's working, their workflow, there are different stages. It's going to be varying, and so is the WIP limit as well. Third principle or third practice is managing the flow. So in the first step, once we have identified the workflow, that could be the initial workflow to start with. But at regular intervals, we will have to continuously see, I mean, is there any state or particular column which we have left behind, which makes sense to kind of like include, and how we can effectively make our flow, make our workflow bottleneck free, or the problem free. So we will have to kind of like manage our flow so that the work or the request flows from initial stage to the completion without any issues. Fourth aspect or fourth practice is making the process explicit. So that means whatever the conditions or the rules that we have applied in each of the state or in each of the column of our board, we will have to tell them, okay, these are our rules. So the rules could be like, when we are saying, okay, there are some tickets or some tasks which are under development. So on what basis we will say, okay, and these are done. So what is our done criteria when we pass anything from under development to, let's say, QA or testing? So we will have to make our process explicit so that everyone is aware that these are the agreed rules, or these are the agreed conditions, or these are the agreed done criteria that all in our team are following. And the fifth aspect or the fifth principle or practice is implementing the feedback loops. So it's very important that whatever workflow we have designed, we also gather the feedback from the team, from the customers, the users, and what exactly is the how the workflow is kind of like helping different users, like getting their regular feedbacks, and then based on the suggestions or their review, we try to kind of like analyze it as a team. And the last one is improve collaboratively collaboratively, and evolve experimentally. So that means, as a team, we will have to work together, and we will have to kind of like retrospect at regular intervals. We will have to reflect whether the workflow that we are using, whether the WIP limit that we have placed, I mean, is it working for us? I mean, are there any areas in our workflow, in our board that could be optimized? So we will have to experiment with it as a team. We will have to be ready, and we will have to collaborate so that we improve it together. So let's move now. After understanding the 6 principles which are used in implementing the Kanban process, now we can understand how we can use Kanban as a acronym for remembering these principles. The very first letter K denotes know the process steps for your complete work using visualization, right? That was the first principle that we discussed. And the key here is what are the different states of workflow which are available in our system. A denotes analyze or check WIP limits, complete work in hand first before starting new work. And the key here is stop starting and start finishing. As we can see from the diagram, there are some items in the to-do state, there are some items in the in progress state, and the 5 is the WIP limit, then there is a QA, 1 is the WIP limit, and then there's the done. So this is kind of a simple board or simple workflow for a particular team. And that's what the A letter denotes in the Kanban. Moving to the next one, N denotes note or remember to manage and improve your workflow. So the key here is managing the flow and Kanban metrics. So we will have to kind of like understand how we can make our workflow effective. So obviously we will have to gather some metrics. So some of the metrics in the Kanban are the lead time, the cycle time, the throughput, like how many tickets we are able to close, how many tasks we are able to close in a particular time duration, and how we can use those metrics to make our flow more effective, more efficient, more optimized. B denotes build or make policies explicit so that process rules are made explicit. And the key here is the conditions and the different done rules, the different criteria that we all have agreed as a team. A denotes applying feedback loops for regular feedbacks or reviews. So that means reviewing, collecting feedback from within our team as well as the users or the customers who are using our application or the system. And denotes non-stop or continuous improvements. That means continuously reflecting, retrospecting, what is it that has been working, what is it which is not working, how we can improve our workflow, how we can improve our complete the end-to-end system. So that's the key. So this is what we can use. This is how we can use Kanban as an acronym for the 6 principles. So this is kind of a summary where K denotes the no process steps for your complete work using visualization. A denotes analyze or check WIP limits. That means complete work in hand first before starting new work. N denotes note to manage and improve your workflow. B is for build or make policies explicit so that process rules are made explicit. They are available for everyone to kind of see. And A denotes applying feedback loops for regular feedbacks or reviews. And the last N stands for non-stop or continuous improvements. All in today's video. I hope you guys like this one. I have tried to make it interesting so that we kind of like start using Kanban itself as an acronym to understand the 6 the basic practices or the principles for Kanban. And if you like this channel, please do share and subscribe. That will definitely help me and motivate me to grow this channel. Thank you so much.